Good morning. A sibling's perspective is like no other. No one has fought, argued, rebuked, disputed, annoyed, or squabbled with Natalie more than me. What can I say? I'm her little brother. It's my responsibility. But along with that, no one else has gotten over as many conflicts as graciously as she has. No one else has consoled me with little kind gestures. No one has been more understanding. And no one else has had such great coattails to ride. She's blazed the way for me by being a thoughtful, caring student-athlete respected by her teachers, coaches, and friends. Nat, I can't wait to hear what you have to say today. Please stand to greet our friend and my sister, Natalie Johnson.
Thank you, Brad, for the introduction, and thank you, Father Gavin and the vestry, for allowing me to speak today. As I'm nearing the end of my time here at EA, I've come to realize the importance of this school in my life. Some of my closest friends and teammates, along with teachers, advisors, and deans that I look up to, are here, and I love seeing them every day. But the love I have for EA now hasn't always been there. I came to this school in 3rd grade, and I really did not want to be here. I loved the school I was in before. It also had my closest friends and teachers that I looked up to. The night my mom and dad sat me down on the porch and told me I was coming to Episcopal, I was crying for hours. I had no intention of leaving a community that I had loved so much for some random school 45 minutes away, and I made that very clear. Now that I have to say goodbye to this community that I didn't even want to be a part of in the first place, I find myself soaking up everything I can before I leave. I had an assignment for AP Euro at the beginning of school this year. We had to summarize our life into 12 important events and organize them into time periods. I was amazed at the amount of change I experienced in my short 17 years alive. Moving houses, switching schools, losing and making new friends, starting new sports, the list went on and on. And I realized the inevitability of change in my life and everyone else's. We face it every day. When you have to change where you sit in class because someone is sitting in your unassigned seat, or when the forecast suddenly changes at 11 from 3 inches of snow to nothing, and now you have to rush through all the work you didn't do. But there are also changes that we see coming. 2020, we're graduating high school this year. That's a big change. But we've somewhat prepared ourselves for the whole world of new experiences we're about to be thrown into, because we knew it was coming. Sometimes there is a change that jumps out of nowhere and totally shakes you to the core. This is the scariest type. Fear of disruption and instability, along with fear of the unknown, is realistic and rational. I understand the unknown is terrifying, but I've found satisfaction in realizing I can control how I respond. Our fears, rational or not, cannot stop time as time marches forward and drags us and change along with it. So we all have to face the inevitable and inescapable fact that change is coming. With a massive and immediate change, what then? How are you going to react? What is a normal reaction to an enormously abnormal event? No matter what we experience, how we embrace that change will forever impact how we are able to live with the change. I had absolutely no control over the biggest change in my life. My parents got divorced in 2012, and the world I knew was gone. It seemed like I was facing new experiences every single day. My mom moved out, my siblings and I learned to live out of 2 homes, and the family dynamic I grew up with vanished. My parents' relationship worsened over the weeks and years, and I was out of my element watching this effect on my family, especially my brother and sister, and I reacted poorly. Instead of coping with the uncontrollable, I shrunk into myself. I went through life as if nothing happened. Everything got more and more complicated as the lawsuits, lawyers, and therapists dragged on, and I didn't think pretending as if nothing happened would affect me. I'm ashamed to say it now, but the easiest part of the divorce was when my dad was in jail and my siblings and I weren't allowed to talk to him. Not talking about it and avoiding the issue completely was simple and uninvolved. I acted like nothing happened and was holding emotion in. Gradually, this weight drained me, and I thankfully realized I was not okay. Life-changing events are coming whether you like it or not. Some of it will be so much fun and an exciting opportunity to succeed. Other times, it happens to you, and the only thing you can control is your reaction. And you have to face it head on, because it's unstoppable. Yes, this means crying and yelling if you have to, but then you can go on with your life. Instead of making the mistake that you can ward off change, endure it and learn from it. We grow our understanding of ourselves and the world around us when we learn that sometimes the only thing we can control is ourselves. Here at Episcopal, I made the best of a community I was thrown into. I joined clubs and teams, made friends, did student council, and did community service. My life here was no longer about myself, and I was fully devoted to the community. People relied on me, I cared about them, and I made this place a school that I love. Once I stopped resisting my parents' divorce, I was able to cope with it and move on. From that, I learned holding emotions inside isn't healthy, and I'm still not the best at describing how I feel, but at least now I try. Change can be frightening. It's so scary to recognize that we can never return to the years that we have left behind. But change is also a beautiful and inevitable aspect of life. Each one presents opportunities to open our minds to new things. Life moves inescapably onwards. So don't be like third grade Natalie and fight change. Instead, realize your fears, improve yourself as you move forward, make the best of situations, and remember that change can be beautiful only if you let it. In silence, let us reflect on what we've just heard.